My name is James H. Betts. I was born and raised in Aberdeen, Mississippi, a little small town, about 90-something miles from Memphis. I finally got a call to go to work for the LA County. And so I started working there, and about 4 or 5 years had gone by, and I was directing traffic out in Culver City, and every day I would see this guy. He would stop and talk to me, and he would ask me about coming into the studio. His name was Tony Leonardo. He was the head of the department at MGM Studios, the scenic and art department. So I kept putting it off, and I would tell him, I would always come up with some story that I just don't know what I would do, Tony. In fact, I don't know anything about movie making, and that's not. He said, well, we have an apprentice program, and I would put you in that program, And I started like in the art department doing grunt work, I would do layouts and do all cleaning up their brushes and everything else they had, the easels or whatever, that's what I was doing. When I first got my first paycheck, I was like, God, what did they do? They made a mistake, And I was like, oh man, I gotta take this to Tony. So I go into Tony's office and I said, Tony, sorry to bother you, but they made a mistake on my check. And so he said, well, let me see it. So he looked at my statement and he said, no, it's right. Yeah, I wasn't on. And my eyes like popped open, like, what? That was more money than I had ever seen, Racism followed me, it did. It followed me because there wasn't that many blacks in the business. When I went to Tony crying one day because I was 20 or 21 at that time. Because I was tired of the racism stuff. I was going to quit. And he said, no, you're not going to quit. He said, no, I knew this would happen, and that's one of the reasons why I chose you. He said, now, he sat me down and he explained to me the whole situation, what was going on, and why the major studios were under fire about hiring minorities, He said, there's elements that don't want you here in the first place, but you're gonna stay here, you're gonna do it, So after I saw that check, I said to myself, there's no way they're gonna run me out of here. I began to master my craft. It took me 3 years to become a 2 card. So, because that's how they classified you then. You started with a 3, 2, then 1. So after I became a 2 card, I began to do a lot more work. I began to get on the sets, and I was doing a lot of building and decorating. When Mr. Nelson asked me, actually demanded that I become the department head at Paramount, I had just come back from location, and the first thing when I walked into the office was that Dolores, who was the secretary, she said, Jim, Mr. Nelson wants to see you in his office. Well, the first goal I set for myself was to try to be the best. And I really believe I achieved that because I was beginning to, I can tell you this, I have gone to places that I would never have gone on my own, and able to take my family. I've gone, I was in Hawaii for like 3 months doing a show, Uncommon Valor. And I worked with Richard Pryor on Some Kind of Hero. And not only Some Kind of Hero, but I worked on practically all of Richard's shows that he'd done for Paramount. He did Harlem Nights, you know, and Eddie Murphy came there, and I did most all the shows that he did, you know. So it went from Eddie being on a contract for 5 or 10 movies, and I think I was involved in at least 8 of those.